Hey guys, we're here for Cooking with Frag Chicken Alfredo as voted on by the Patreons. Thank you everybody for the support on the Patreon and making this segment possible. I love Alfredo sauce. I will say it's something you don't want to eat every day, but for a special occasion, it is a great cream sauce. It has all the things that make a really great cream sauce. Heavy cream is a very unhealthy ingredient, but used in moderation is good. I like my Alfredo not drowning in sauce, just barely coating the noodles. So I'll be cooking a classic and a favorite here on the show today. We're going to head over to the cutting board and talk about the ingredients that we need to make an Alfredo sauce. The first thing you need is whipping cream. You can also use heavy cream if you want to. I'm going to be using some chicken for this. We have Parmesan cheese, some chopped garlic. I'm going to use parsley for garnish. Those look pretty bland. We have a lemon for the sauce, and you're also going to need 1 egg for this one. I have 2 in case I break one of the yolks or don't separate it properly. To start off, we're just going to go ahead and mince this parsley and get some cheese grated, and then we'll go from there. So the basics of making Alfredo sauce is you make a garlic cream, and then you enrich it with a egg yolk, and then you thicken it with cheese. Sounds pretty good, right? You can use just about any kind of noodle you want to. I have some fettuccine here that's been in the cupboard for a while, so that's what we're going to use. All right, there's that. We have a microplane. You can get a microplane for about $5. It's a nice grating tool, good for doing like zest on fruit as well. So, don't know exactly how much cheese we'll need, but we'll at least get a start here. The cheese is the main thickener. The only thing you have to be careful with on Alfredo sauce is when you're adding the cheese in, your liquid's going to be really hot. So you want to make sure that you're not over thickening it with cheese. If it cools down and becomes just basically a glob, that's not good. We'll say that's a pretty good start for cheese. Put this over here. We'll cut our lemon in half. Okay, so we're going to head over to the stove here, and we're going to start our cream sauce. I'll also get my pan preheating for the chicken. I'm going to bring this on to like a medium heat or so. Get this one going nice and hot, getting ready for the chicken. So we're going to add a small pad of butter to our pot for the Alfredo. It's important that you saute the garlic slightly first. If you add just raw garlic to a cream sauce, it can create a slightly acidic flavor, or at least that's my opinion. Always want to at least sweat your garlic first. Let that heat up for just a second. Let's get our noodles over here too. Get everything we need on this side. Let's let that melt down real good. Add about a tablespoon of garlic. If you love garlic, you can add more. If you don't, add less. Just going to wait for that to sizzle a little bit and just become opaque, a little bit more mushy. So we're not adding just raw garlic juice into the cream. Granted, we do reduce the cream, so it'd probably cook out, but garlic and onions always nice to saute beforehand. Let's see how our pan's doing here. Do the water test. Flick a little water on the pan. Yeah, it's dancing. All right, turn that down a smidge so we don't burn our butter. All right, we're just going to do a basic seared chicken here. So I'm going to get this going and then wash my hands real quick. I'm using a chicken thigh here. I definitely prefer chicken thighs over chicken breasts. A lot more juice and flavor in the dark meat. Not the prettiest looking piece of chicken, but that's okay. All right. So our garlic has started to bubble. It's definitely mostly cooked, so that's good. Gonna take our whipping cream. Whipping cream is about 16% fat. If you buy the legit heavy cream, it's about 36 to 40. All right. So I probably used a cup and a half there. The recipe says 2. The recipe would be for 2 full servings of pasta. Now we're going to crank the heat on this. We want it to reduce by about 1/4. And next we're going to add our pasta here. There we go. When cooking dry pasta, the box is almost always correct on the timing. I'm going to just go ahead and throw it in there. Certainly cooked plenty of pasta in my lifetime. Now you can tell our pot is only about half full, so I'm going to have to break this in half to make it fit. Alright, looks good. With pasta, you want to make sure you're stirring about every minute or so. At the very least, you don't want it to clump together. The more you can stir it, the better, in my opinion. Let's take a little peek at our chicken here. It's starting to brown a little bit. Just going to release it from the pan so it doesn't stick. Alright, our cream is bubbling now. Cream reduces pretty quick. You can also be pretty aggressive with your heat on it. The only thing you don't want to do is leave boiling cream unattended. It will foam and then boil over, which not only causes flames to spit up, it makes a huge mess of your stovetop. Now that we have boiling water, I can move this to the back corner so you guys can see it. Oh, just burned some arm hair off there. I had like almost no hair on my hands and arms when I was a cook. You're always reaching over the burners. As you can see there, the cream started boiling up. To get rid of the bubbles, you can do one of 2 things. You can do what I just did there and spin it in a circle, or you can blow on it. Is very effective as well. Okay, now I got some nice garlic cream. We're going to add salt now. We get the salt level to the place that we want it, and then we're going to start folding in the egg and cheese. The egg's the really important part for Alfredo sauce. I'm going to go ahead and grab a spoon real quick and give this a quick taste. And grab a couple spoons. It's good salt level. I'm going to say our chicken's ready to flip now too. There we go. We got a nice little bit of brown on the chicken. Would have liked a little more brown than that, but that's okay. Okay. So we got our cream on a lower heat now that it's reduced a little bit. Now we're going to head back to the cutting board and I'll show you how to separate an egg. There's a couple ways to separate an egg. You can crack it and just put it into your fingers and shake and let it fall through your fingers. But the way I like to do it is you get a nice crack right down the middle. You can just pour it back and forth between the 2 shells, and then you can end up cracking it like that. That's okay. I got most of the yolk in there. That was not a bad crack. You can also run them through a strainer or colander, and the whites will fall through if you need to do a lot of them. Okay, if we pour this egg yolk directly into our sauce, it will coagulate and become, like an over-hard egg, and that's the last thing we want. So what you do is you take your egg yolk, and you take a very small amount of your cream, add it into the egg yolk, and stir. This will keep the egg from becoming scrambled eggs. And you take a little bit more. Same thing. And a little bit more. There you go. You've now tempered your egg yolk, so it will no longer become scrambled eggs when you add it to the sauce. Put that into your sauce. There we are. That provides a nice depth and richness for your sauce. It makes a world of difference, just that one egg yolk. So now we're going to taste again to check our salt level with the egg yolk in there. Delightful. Very hard to go wrong with cream and garlic. It is one of those magical things. All right, we're going to stir our pasta a little bit more here. And then we're going to start folding cheese into the sauce. Don't have to be super precise with this. As said on the recipe, if you're going to use pre-shredded Parmesan, rinse it under some water before you add it in. They add a caking agent to the outside of the cheese to keep the shreds from forming together. I think it's sodium bicarbonate. So if you add that to your sauce, it'll end up caking and not working very well. So if you rinse off a lot of that powder, it will go into the sauce better. Yeah, got a little parsley in there. That's okay. Okay, so what we're looking for with viscosity here is if you run your finger down the spoon like this, you want to see that line stay. It's not staying right now, so we need just a little bit more cheese. That's a better way to test it than just looking at it. Oh, yeah. Thigh is almost done. So we don't need much, just a little tiny bit. There we go. The last thing we'll add to the sauce is lemon juice. We're going to do that at the very end. All right, we're going to turn the chicken off and pull it to the side for the moment, get it cooling down. Got a nice, rich, and bubbly Alfredo. I gotta taste it again. See how the cheese flavor's in there. You can see this sauce is much thicker now that we've added the cheese. God bless, that's amazing. I'm also going to add a little black pepper to mine. Some people prefer white pepper for the sauce. In fact, I think white pepper is the classic way to do it, but not a huge fan of white pepper. All right, so there's our Alfredo. Let's see here. Viscosity is much better now. It's all you have to keep in mind, it's very hot right now, so it's going to thicken as it cools, and it's not going to be this hot on the plate. So we'll turn it off and see what happens. Let's test a piece of our pasta. Pasta has about 2 minutes. All right, so I'm missing a bowl here. Need a bowl to toss the noodles. Give my cutting board a quick clean here. Always clean as you go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and toss this chicken onto the cutting board too. You see we got a nice brown on both sides. Could have done a little bit better on this side getting the initial brown. That's probably my pan not being quite hot enough. I always panic when I'm working with whole butter though, because if you scorch the whole butter, it taints the whole dish. James, cats don't cook. What are you doing in here? James, please. Kitchen cat. James, please. Come here. What are you doing, James? You're helping me fill the time since the pasta's not on time. That's right. Thanks, James. All right, taking a look at our sauce now. It's definitely starting to thicken up now that it's cooling. It's a pretty good consistency for the sauce. Another way to test the sauce, you can roll it to the side of the pan and then see how fast it falls. Pretty slow. We know the flavor is good, and that's the important part. don't have the iron fingers I once did. I used to be able to just reach into the water and grab the noodle. No more. I have soft baby hands now that I play video games for a living. All right, 30 seconds, and I'm pulling that. You can definitely just follow the directions on dry pasta. I always find the pulling the noodles out and tasting to be the fun part of cooking it, though. So we're going to need a pair of tongs. I always think you got everything when you set up your mies, then you're always forgetting one or two things. All right, we're going to take our pasta over to my colander here, and then we'll go to the cutting board and plate. We'll also be answering any questions anybody has for about 5 minutes after the cooking portion is done. So if you guys have any question about the sauce or any other questions about cooking, happy to answer at that time. All right, I'm just tossing this a little bit to get all the water off. All right. Need a plate too. All right, we'll do a bowl for this one. Oh, yeah, I have a plate. Excuse me. Someone awesome got me this nice new plate, and then I almost didn't use it. Okay, so we're chicken here. All right, so we're going to pour our noodles into the bowl. Lightly coat the noodles with the Alfredo sauce. I'm going to give these a good toss. And then let them sit for a second to kind of absorb some of the sauce and not be floating so much. Maybe added about 25% too much sauce there, but that's okay. Forgot to add lemon to the sauce, so let's add a little bit here. Oh my god, that's a juicy lemon. Don't want much, just enough to balance out the acid. And we'll give it a little taste here. Perfection. All right, so we'll take our noodles. Looks like about a portion for me. Take our chicken. All right, there it is. Chicken Alfredo. Bon appetit. All right, guys, if you have any questions about the cooking portion, or you have any questions about cooking in general, this is your time to ask them. I'll be answering questions about the next 5 minutes. But thank you, everybody, for watching this cooking segment. I really do enjoy doing these and have a great time with it. So thank you, everybody, for making this content possible through your support. Can you make the chat bigger? No, not like that. Keep your cracking edge of a bowl on a flat surface, since it can cause it to shatter. Definitely best if you do not crack on a sharp surface. The edge of a counter or the side of a bowl is a good place to crack an egg, to not have it sever. Do you have a surefire way of telling the chicken thighs cook through? I trouble not overcooking them. Just get a thermometer. Digital thermometer is your best friend. Best friend. White pepper definitely has a different flavor to it. Oh my god, squirrel. I find it to be kind of floral myself. I have a very sensitive palate though, and if there's too much white pepper in something, it really ruins it for me. Do gas burners heat pans faster than induction stove? I believe induction actually heats faster than gas. The benefit of gas is you get a more consistent temperature, though. What is your opinion on adding basil to the Alfredo sauce? Absolutely can. Alfredo is just a basic cream sauce, so you can really go any direction you want to. You can add sun-dried tomatoes, basil, whatever you want. Was the chicken seasoned? No, I did not season the chicken for this because the sauce was very flavorful. If I was going to season that at all, it'd probably just be salt and pepper. But I was wary since the sauce is so flavorful and it's going to be on the chicken anyways. Yep, thyme is great with cream. Thyme's one of my favorite herbs. It's definitely a good call, Twinge. Is there a reason you were cutting at an angle? You get bigger pieces of chicken that way than doing just strips. It's a nicer mouthful, in my opinion. Any knife brand recommendations, maybe an estimate of how much you feel is reasonable for a good set of knives? You really only need one good chef knife, and if you take good care of it, you can get a really nice one for about $80. I definitely recommend Global knives. Did you enjoy the multitasking of Chaos Kitchen and Friday Night Rush? Absolutely. I was actually, the most rewarding part was finishing a really fast service and knowing you did well. Kay Graveson, welcome to the Dapper. Thank you very much for the support. I just tossed parsley on at the end, Cynical. Nothing fancy. What sort of side dishes do you recommend for cutting through this creamy sauce? Anything with acid's going to be good. Acid cuts through cream really well. That's why we added a little bit of lemon to the sauce to make it a little less rich. Does Alfredo sauce freeze well? Cream freezes okay. Congratulations, Tiny Bubble. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today's Cooking with Frag. We'll be back and at it on Monday at around 7 p.m. Pacific. Thank you all for your support and time. Look forward to doing the next one next month.